Good morning, everyone's. Happy Friday morning. This is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it.
Not seeing LaDonna.
I
Oh,
see,
there she is. Okay.
I see her.
Oh,
Hand.
look.
Oh, it's blurry. What is
My
Oh,
internet is unstable, it says, but can you see it at all?
there we go. That's
I
better.
think so.
Back up,
Back up
LaDonna.
just a little bit.
Back up. Yeah.
Hold still. Yes, happy. I think it says happy birthday in silver.
Yeah, it is. It's a wadded up happy birthday napkin from the bottom of the drawer. and a leftover piece of garlic toast from dinner last night that I'm bringing to your house after.
Garlic toast for breakfast. That
Our
sounds
mother
like a
made this with her very own hands 24 hours ago.
Oh,
Make a wish,
I wish
and I'll
I
blow it
wish
for
for
you.
garlic toast for breakfast. That's what I want.
All right.
Oh, well, thank you. Thanks for my birthday wish. You're so sweet. I love it. That's so me too, because I would eat garlic toast for my birthday
You would eat
breakfast.
leftover garlic toast for breakfast. Yes, you would.
I get that from my grandfather Paul, who would eat like fish for breakfast. He didn't care. He's like, yeah,
Mhm.
it's good anytime I do.
Food's food.
It's food, yeah. Birthday shout out to Pastor Cassius Neil Turner. Today is his birthday as well. He is Double Nichols, 55 years old today. Uh, yeah, Pastor Cassius, Brandy said, come on camera.
Only if you want.
Only if you want to. I don't know, his hair might be messed up. You can't assume. My hair gets messed up sometimes. Happy birthday to Pastor CNT, Cassius Neil Turner. Welcome to Spirit and Truth Sanctuary's Fully Awake 365. We're glad you're here today. Today's the beginning of a part 2 devotion. Gentleness Part 1. We're in the month of Pursuing Peace. This is the month that we celebrate the birth of the Prince of Peace. I'm not sure he was born in December, but this is the time we celebrate it, and it's a beautiful time to do that. I have a little joy for you this morning. I think most of you will recognize this song. It's not our usual genre, but it is one of my favorite songs because I love the imagery. I love to kind of, I was I was raised by LaDonna, my second mother, who kind of woke me up to the beauty of taking lyrics, rock and roll lyrics, R&B lyrics, and finding kind of the meaning behind the metaphor. I love to do that. That's a favorite pastime of mine. All right, see if you recognize the song and the artist.
On a dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair, warm smell of colitas rising up through the air. Up ahead in the distance, I saw a shimmering light. My head grew heavy and my sight grew dim. I had to stop for the night. There she stood in the doorway. I heard the mission bell.
All right, sorry, I cut it off before the chorus. I forgot how long the introduction was to that.
It's a long introduction.
It's a long introduction. I do have to say that this type of music, people don't realize how much is borrowed, how much rock and roll borrows from reggae. If you listen to the bass line, doom, 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 that's a very reggae type beat. And all that rock and roll and reggae kind of always have had an interesting relationship with each other. All right, see if anybody who knew this white song.
Oh yeah, we had a lot of people in there, and people were jumping in pretty quickly on YouTube. Let's see, who was that? Miss Laverne, and then Sarah jumped in, Alita, Billy.
Which Sarah?
I don't know, Sarah. You'll have to tell us. It just says Sarah as the name. Give us a little more info, Sarah. Let's see, Billy, and then Sandra. let's see here. S. Johnson and Billy did. Okay, so now let me back up and say we did get some interesting guesses on the artist. All of those people guessed the song, but let me give you some of the Jason. This is interesting. He guessed Dream on Aerosmith.
Close.
I
Yeah.
know, I know.
Same feel. Same feel.
And then later Jason said, I got it wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's Yasira. Sarah is Yasira. Hey, Yasira. Um, I'll have to remember that for the future. Okay, hold on. Let me get back in here. Billy guessed Kansas, which is also a good guess.
Similar. Kansas is similar
Or
genre.
okay, LaDonna, maybe a good guess. Okay, I wouldn't have known who this was. Okay, and Alita admitted I have no idea who the artist is. So now let me do a drum roll. Who actually guessed the artist? S. Johnson and Billy ended up getting the Eagles. So good job, guys.
The Eagles, I believe that's Glenn Fry singing there.
No, Don Henley.
Sorry, Don Henley. That's right, Don Henley.
But Glenn Fry was in the Eagles. Yeah.
So I love this song. I just love the minor chords, the imagery. This song scared me, LaDonna, growing up because
Oh yeah, because I know the exact line that scared you. You want me to say it?
it gives, yeah, you say
Well,
it.
several. Well,
In the
you can
master's
check out
chambers,
anytime. Yeah,
they
there's
gather for the feast,
they're gathered for the feast. They stab it with their steely knives, but they
they
just
just
can't
can't
kill the
kill the
beast.
beast.
Yes, that was
Woo!
rather
That was when
scary imagery.
I was under dispensationalism. I was thinking that was an antichrist in there. When I got older, I realized it probably is talking about drug addiction, and the steely
Yeah.
knives are syringes, heroin syringes, trying to satisfy the beast of the hunger of addiction.
Nothing to do with the beast of Revelation.
Nothing to do with 666 or the Antichrist, but that's what my comment
Now,
was.
as a semi-claustrophobic person, you can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave was
Yeah.
my horror line, because you can never leave. You can't get out.
Get out.
That was the one that scared me.
Which I think it's about the way that I perceive the majority of the lyrics of the song. I think it's about addiction. You can be in recovery, but you never really leave the Hotel California of wanting to have that drug again. But some people say that's not the interpretation, that it's talking about the music business, and that once you get in the music business, the ego.
Probably both.
Maybe it's both. Yeah, maybe it's both. Who knows? All right, enough of our white rock and roll behind the music today. I'm getting in touch with my Eurocentric white rock and roll roots. Rock and roll came from, by the way, rock and roll was not invented by white people. I will say that it comes from I would say Chuck Berry might be my earliest expression to real rock and roll. All right, gentleness part one. LaDonna, thank you for playing this morning, people. Give us our affirmation.
Okay, it is today. I will recognize the power of gentleness.
Power of gentleness. And so sometimes gentleness is perceived as weakness, and aggressiveness. Violence is perceived as strength, whether that's physical violence or um, uh, projecting your powerful personality onto other people's, which would be called political mobilization, instead of a gentle liberative practice. So in that way, whether it's a larger child playing with a smaller child, a bigger dog, my dogs in my house, I have a giant schnauzer and a shih tzu. And when they start their wrestling thing, I have to say, Lola, gentle, be gentle, gentle. She's little, lady's little, she's little. Yeah, just because you're being gentle doesn't mean there isn't a reserved strength that you could unleash at any time. I think a lot about if some of you are basketball fans, I think about Shaquille O'Neal, who, in my humble opinion, is the most powerful, largest, strongest athlete that has arguably ever walked the face of this earth. 7'2" or 7'3", 330 pounds, breaking goals. They had to actually invent a new reinforcement because he broke so many basketball goals with his strength and size. And he took a lot of very hard fouls, a lot of intentional fouls. They invented this way of trying to get back in the game called hack-a-shack. They would just go over and intentionally foul him to force him. He wasn't a great free throw shooter. And his level of patience and gentleness with these little guys trying to foul him was really remarkable. Of course, there were several times that he couldn't take it anymore and he unleashed some fury, but for the majority, the greater part of his career, he was a very, very gentle soul. When the NBA became more inclusive in their outreach to the same gender-loving community, Shaq was one of the first spokespersons who they asked, "Well, Shaq, what would you do if you had a teammate who was gay? How would you deal with them in the locker room?" He said, "Like another teammate." I said, "Well, what would if your teammates were making fun or saying things that were hurtful? What would you do?" He said, "Well, then they would have to deal with me." And I thought, here is this incredibly powerful physical specimen showing a gentle nature toward those who needed his voice in some ways. I have a lot of respect for those who wield their power lightly, as in the mythical literary character King Arthur. All right, let's see. Let's jump down to, I think the last paragraph is really, really powerful. It says, upon arriving at the scene of his home that had just been bombed with his wife and little children inside, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. chose to respond by telling the mob who'd gathered to defend him, "If you have weapons, take them home. If you do not have them, do not seek them. We cannot solve this problem through violence. We must meet it with nonviolence. Love your enemies. Bless those that curse you. Pray for those who spitefully or despitefully use you." That kind of gentle response comes only from a deep well of inner strength and is much more powerful than any amount of brute force. Can we do this? I'll try to navigate this the right way. Our exposure to more esoteric academic approaches to theology might be far, I don't want to say superior, it might be far deeper, a deeper dive than many people that we are exposed to in our families, in our circles of spheres of influence. Because we have that exposure and that theological privilege, we should wield that power lightly. There are times when I'm talking to someone that I know that I could probably really mess them up. I could really throw some things at them they're not ready in their rigid approach to religion. They're not ready to hear it. But I'm trying to learn to not do that and to find common sense entry points. How do I get to someone's mind without destroying their heart? How can we encourage curiosity and the beauty of uncertainty without destroying someone's spiritual context and something that may be sacred to them? And so that's just an application for us at Spirit and Truth as we are architecting third space work and bridge work, learning to be a bridge over troubled water for people who may even come at us with a little bit of violent rhetoric. How do we respond to that? How do we deal with ignorance? Sting, another one of my favorite artists, he wrote a song called A Gentleman in New York, I believe is the name of the song. And he says, it takes a
Englishman in New York, yeah.
Takes a great man to suffer ignorance and smile. Wow.
Yes.
It's a great man to suffer ignorance and smile. How many of us who are the awakening beings at Spirit and Truth Sanctuary have suffered ignorance and had to smile and go, okay, let's just go with that. But gentleness is something that we have to cultivate and work on. And so I encourage you to do that today. All right, back to you, LaDonna.
All right, our ending prayer is source of strength. Please allow me to respond to all situations in my life today from a place of true power, which is born of gentleness. Amen.
Born of gentleness, gentle Savior, gentle Jesus, little baby Jesus in the man. Little baby Jesus, I pray for this Taco Bell lunch today. Anybody seen Talladega Nights, anybody? All right, a lot of white culture.
Yes.
All right, guys, thanks for joining us on our morning devotion. Looking forward to seeing you Sunday morning. We will kind of do part 2 of divine reprobating activity. We're going to bring in a justice narrative to it and maybe reimagine this idea of eternal torture or maybe a temporary restoration in a way I think that satisfies the demands for reckoning. And does God just wink at injustice and violence? And it's an interesting approach to allowing different people to understand universal salvation in their own context. And so looking forward to sharing that with you. Until then, have a great rest of. Thanks for all the birthday wishes. I certainly appreciate your love. Have a great day.